I know you're enjoying the fellowship around the table, and I know you're enjoying your salads, and we've really been honored today to have some significant leaders in the Commonwealth of Virginia speak to us and address us and share their ideas and the challenges and the opportunities that are taking place in the session. Obviously, today, we're looking forward to hearing from the Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, and it's my pleasure to introduce one of our sponsors today that is helping us with this event, and that is the head of Troutman Sanders Strategies and a partner in Troutman Sanders law firm, Clark Lewis, who serves on our board. Clark has been a longtime supporter of economic development, represents the Virginia Economic Developers Association as part of his practice, as well as local government officials, and we're so pleased that they're headquartered here in Virginia. And I'd like for you to join me in expressing your appreciation and thanks to Clark Lewis, and he'll come forward to make the introduction. Clark, thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Barry. It's my honor to introduce Governor Ralph Northam to you today. Governor Northam, as we all know, was elected on November 7th, 2017, and inaugurated on January 13th, 2018. Governor Northam has served as an Army doctor, business owner, state senator, and lieutenant governor. He grew up in the Virginia Eastern Shore region, attended the Virginia Military Institute, Governor right beside Good Washington Lee, where I attended, graduated with distinction. My daughter's there now. After VMI, the governor was commissioned a second lieutenant in the United States Army, attended Eastern Virginia Medical School, and then traveled to San Antonio for pediatric residency. He served with great distinction 8 years in active duty and rose to the rank of major. Governor and First Lady Pam Northam have 2 children, Wes and Aubrey, and it's my very great privilege to join me, all of us, in welcoming the 73rd Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Ralph Northam. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Please be seated. Good afternoon, and thank you, Clark, so much for the kind introduction and the brevity of your introduction. I appreciate that, and I know you all do as well, and I hope you all are enjoying your lunch. And I do lecture to medical students and residents, so please continue to eat. That doesn't bother me a bit, and usually when the students start nodding off, I know it's time to move on. But thank you to the Chamber. It is always good to speak and be with you. We appreciate what you do for the Commonwealth of Virginia, driving this economy of our great Commonwealth, helping businesses grow, especially startups, which is the backbone of our economy, helping to recruit new businesses to Virginia. So we thank you, and we have had a great relationship, and I look forward to that as we move forward. I do want to take just a couple minutes, hopefully it won't take that long, but to recognize somebody who has been a leader, a friend to the Commonwealth of Virginia, a public servant, and came on this position of president of your chamber in 2010. And these are some powerful numbers that I think we all have to recognize and applaud. The membership of the chamber in Virginia was 847 in 2010. It's now over 26,000. So please give a hand to Barry Duval for your leadership. Thank you, Barry. I would say that's a good return on your investment. When I was in Williamsburg shortly after the election, I was offered the Blueprint 2025, and at that time, I suggested that Barry receive a raise, and I hope that that has happened. I haven't checked back with you. But I appreciate the presentation of the 2025 Blueprint, and I think you'll see that just a couple comments that I make that we're really on the same page, and we want to move Virginia in certainly a positive direction. Now, I must admit, and I want to answer a couple questions. People have asked me a couple questions in the last couple of weeks. As you know, I took office on the 13th of January, and the first question people ask is, what's it like to be governor of Virginia, and what's it like to stay in the mansion? And as you might imagine Ed Gillespie, who is a friend and we've communicated several times since the election. We ran fairly hard. We didn't get quite as much sleep as we'd like to get. And so finally, on the 13th of January, you know, the key transfer took place, and Pam and I moved into the mansion. And so we decided to turn it in, if you will, around 10:30, and walked up to the bedroom, and on the bed were two pillowcases with Terry McAuliffe's face on them, saying, "Sleep when you're dead," which I've heard before. And as some people have recognized, there's some differences between Governor McAuliffe and me, one of which is I do enjoy my sleep. That's a good thing. So we got in bed and drifted off to sleep, and about 11 o'clock, the sound system in the mansion went off at full volume. One of those sounds that I've got to get out and turn this down right now, and finally found the volume and took care of that and got back into bed and did fine until about 3 a.m. when the first of two alarm clocks went off. Anyway, I could tell you a lot of stories, but the first thing I recognize is what it's like to be governor of Virginia, is that it's hard to get your sleep. So we have finally located both alarm clocks, and we are settling in. So we appreciate that. I do want to recognize, too, I've always kind of made the observation, Lieutenant Governor Hager, it's great to see you, and thank you for your friendship and your leadership. And we have always agreed that the Lieutenant Governor is really the most important, most powerful position in Virginia. So it is good to see you. The other question, and perhaps a more serious question that I want to address this afternoon, is what do I want to do as Governor of Virginia? And as a business owner since 1996, and having served in Richmond for 10 years, I think the most important thing for us to do as a governor and our cabinet is to make sure that we have a strong economy in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And it wasn't that long ago that Virginia was the #1 state in this country in which to do business. And for numerous reasons, we have fallen off that curve. Last year, we were back at 13th, this year 6th, but I'm going to do everything I can, and I hope you will help me as well to take Virginia back to being #1 in this country. And so there are certainly some things that are important as we talk about a strong economy. Workforce is important. A good transportation system is certainly important. Access to quality health care is important. Our quality of life in Virginia certainly is high on the list. To have a competitive tax code with other states so that we can compete is important. To have competitive energy prices so that we can attract manufacturers to Virginia is important. And finally, inclusivity. So if I could talk just about a couple of those areas, I would like to. And the first is a challenge that I see, and this is not something that is new, but we have always been very dependent in Virginia on the military and government contracting, especially in certain areas of Virginia, such as Northern Virginia and Hampton Roads. And we always will be dependent, but you know, we had the government shut down, and thankfully they have taken care of that. We don't know what's going to happen in 3 weeks, but no region in Virginia should be dependent on just one industry. So we have got to look at the resources of each region of Virginia and then talk about what are the jobs, what can we promote in those regions, what are the jobs of the 21st century. And you have heard me talk about these before, but you've heard of STEM. I've added a couple letters. STEAM H now is what we call it, but science, technology, engineering, the arts, math, and healthcare, because that's what my background is in. But there are jobs out there like cybersecurity and unmanned aerial systems and biotechnology and artificial intelligence, data collection, data analysis. These are the jobs of the 21st century. So we have got to work with our businesses and education systems to prepare our youth for these 21st century jobs. And that starts with access to higher education. We want to make sure that colleges and universities are affordable. In Virginia, we need to bring skills to jobs. We have 23 great community colleges in Virginia. We have a workforce grant program that allows students in Virginia to have 2/3 of their tuition paid if they go into a high-demand job. That has worked very well. I have also proposed another program called G3, which is Get Skilled, Get a Job, and Give Back. And this allows Virginians to go to a community college with the agreement, not incurring any debt with the agreement. Once they become certified, they will give back a year with pay to either public service or in a high-demand job or in a high-demand area in Virginia. So that's the G3 program that we will be promoting. We have worked very hard to change our high school curriculum, putting more emphasis on vocational and technical training for those that aren't destined to go to college. And we, for the first time this year, have a position as a workforce development advisor. That's something that was put into the code last year, and I have named Megan Healy. She is taking on that position, but that job will specifically be to work between the business community and the education system and make sure that we're training individuals for 21st century jobs. And even we have gone to the point, and I've called it a dashboard, but I want to set up a system. We obviously have the technology to set up a system where we know the jobs that are available, and individuals can go to this dashboard and see what jobs are available. Businesses can see that, and also our education system can see it. So I look forward to expanding that. And Mr. and Mrs. Davenport, it's great to see you in the audience. Pam and I have always worked very hard, and I know a lot of people in this room are on board with early childhood education. And I will just tell you, as a parent and as a child neurologist, there is a tremendous learning potential in our children before they ever get to kindergarten. And I have made the point before that if one family has the means to send their children to pre-K and another one doesn't, that's really what starts the gap between the haves and the have-nots. And it's money well spent to invest in our children at an early age. So we're doing a lot of good work. We've got some silos still out there that we need to take care of, but we want to make sure that every child in the Commonwealth of Virginia has access to early childhood education. So we thank you for your work in that area. The other challenge that I see is rural Virginia. And as you may be able to tell, as I stand here before you, I'm not from Northern Virginia. I grew up over on the Eastern Shore, and while our unemployment rate has fallen from 5.4 to 3.7 in Virginia, it's nowhere near that in rural Virginia. So if you go to the Eastern Shore, or you go to the South Side or the Southwest, we have a lot of work to do. And if we're going to make the economy of Virginia strong, we've got to lift up all of Virginia. And so we have programs, we have money in the budget to expand some of our educational systems, to include University of Virginia WISE, to bring more talent to that area. With that talent will come research and development opportunities, grant opportunities, and then business opportunities. So we look forward to that. The other pet peeve of mine, and I have already gotten started on this project, is broadband. We have got to expand broadband to all areas across the Commonwealth of Virginia. You can't expect a business to grow, you can't expect new businesses to come to Virginia, and you can't educate our children unless we have universal broadband. So I look forward to working with you all on that project as well. I want to mention transportation very quickly. We have got to have world-class transportation in Virginia if we're going to drive our economy. And as you all know, in 2013, then Governor McDonnell put a transportation plan on the table. It brought bipartisan support. And for the first time since 1986, we have new revenue. And you're seeing a lot of projects being built around the Commonwealth of Virginia because of that. We also have SmartScale, which has helped take the politics out of some of the projects that we are building. But we need to continue to make sure we stay ahead of the curve. And one of the areas that I will focus on in the next 4 years, in addition to our roads and highways, is transit. And for those of you that are from Northern Virginia, there is nothing more important right now than making sure that Metro is viable and healthy and that we have a dedicated source of revenue for Metro. So we are having good discussions. We've only been here for 2 weeks, but I look forward at the end of this session to making sure that we do everything that we can to make Metro work for Northern Virginia, Washington, and Maryland. Thank you. In the blueprint, we talked about quality of life. And if people are going to have a good quality of life, they've got to be healthy. And we are in a unique position this year with our legislature to expand access to health care across the Commonwealth of Virginia. Right now, there are close to 400,000 working Virginians who don't have access to coverage. And I remind people, and perhaps some of this is because of my background, but no individual, no family should be one medical illness away from financial demise. We cannot let that happen in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Every day that we don't expand our access, we're not only leaving on the table, but we're giving to other states over $6 million a day. That's money that we could be keeping here in Virginia. It will provide jobs. It will help take care of our veterans. It will help with the opioid crisis that is crippling this Commonwealth, and it will help with mental health. So I hope that as we move forward, and there are a lot of discussions going on in this area, I hope we can all work together to make sure that we can bring those resources back to the Commonwealth of Virginia and provide access to health care for all Virginians. I want to mention very quickly, as a veteran of the United States Army, I want to thank you all for being part of the V3 program, Virginia Values Veterans. You know, our goal by 2018 was to hire 20,000 veterans. We went past that. We now are past 30,000, and I want to double that in the next 4 years. These are the men and women that have fought for our freedoms, and we want to make sure that Virginia is the #1 state in this country to take care of our veterans. So I appreciate your all's help with that. And then finally, I would just like to close with an observation that I made traveling around the Commonwealth of Virginia during the campaign, and also talking to businesses that we were trying to help grow, and also attracting new businesses to the Commonwealth of Virginia. And that is that we live in a very diverse society, and it's becoming more diverse every day. So as a business owner, and I hope you all will join me, we need to make sure that we're inclusive in the Commonwealth of Virginia, that our lights are on, that our doors are open, and that we welcome people to Virginia. And so I look forward to leading that effort in the next 4 years. So as I said early in my comments, my goal, other than to get some sleep at night, is to make sure that Virginia is the #1 state in this country to do business. So I look forward to working with the Chamber and look forward to making that happen in the next 4 years. Thank you all so much, and God bless you. Thank you.